against Everton. Whereas last year in the FA Cup, it wasn't the major priority. It was third in line compared to the semi-final of the Capital One Cup and the Premier League, picking up more points to get out of trouble, which I always knew we were going to do when all the players that were available became fit again. Because with 4 or 5 days rest means they've had a sufficient recovery time to get out there and go for the game against Everton. And bearing in mind, it's rather strange playing an FA Cup tie on a Tuesday night, but it has given us a little bit of breathing space between the last game and this one. So we've got a squad that's available to play less African nation players.
Well, for him, he's got a squad available. Well, with Everton not having the very best of season this particular season, well, he might just want to get that victory over them. And according to what Louis van Gaal actually said, the FA Cup is actually the shortest way for anyone that wants to win a trophy this season, to win something. The Premier League title, well, most people are saying it's going to be between Chelsea and Manchester City. Man United, with their away form, definitely they might not be able to compete with that. And for other clubs who are trying to get into the top 4 or get a Europa League spot or even trying to get a trophy this season, the FA Cup is the surest way to do that. And Sam Allardyce will definitely want to capture his moment and see how he can get his hands on that trophy. Remember the fact that they're actually in the top 4 right now. He knows that the title is definitely not going to be for them. And the only way to consolidate on a very, very spectacular season is for him to see how he can actually get a title for West Ham. Now talking about Liverpool, where the inspired captain, he will be leaving Anfield. I believe after the fans may have watched what happened yesterday against Wimbledon and, of course, his moments of brilliance and all that, they will be wishing he will be staying with them for the rest of his career. But this is a man who is still very, very hungry to play football. And of course, we saw what he did yesterday against Wimbledon. He scored the 2 goals for them, and this actually helped Liverpool to that victory. They're through to the 4th round of the FA Cup. And for Steven, he believes despite this, he will still be leaving the club, moving to MLS. And that may also help his career. And there was at the weekend, actually, Brendan Rodgers tipped him to become a successful manager, but that's not what is in his books right now. All he wants to do is to see how he can finish his career, and after that, he can think of the next move, which is if it's to become a manager or not. But he has actually made one thing clear. He will not be playing in a club that will play against Liverpool. That's definitely certain for him. Now, one man also was in action against Liverpool in that FA Cup 3rd round, and that's Adebayo Akinfenwa. He's actually a Nigerian but grew up in Britain. He was born there and all that. This is the big man, happens to be the biggest footballer, well, right now, I wouldn't say on earth. But this man, you know, he said he's a supporter of Liverpool, but his dream was actually to see how he can use his big frame to, stall Liverpool. He tried doing that. He got a goal for himself, but that was all he could get. And Steven Gerrard was just at his very, very brilliant moment, and he was able to, inspire Liverpool. But for Akinfenwa, he said it was really a pleasure for him to have even scored against Liverpool, and he would have really loved a situation whereby they get to go to Anfield and he gets to score at Anfield. That's the place he really wanted to be and do the scoring and, of course, do the dancing. By the end of the day, he just couldn't get a second goal. But that one was really crucial for him because Liverpool is the club that he supports. Now, he happens to be the most popular player in the club because he's actually among the FIFA 15 player because of his huge frame. He's actually called the Beast. That's his name. He can play as a striker and, of course, also as a defender. And this season, so far, he has scored 10 goals for his side. So for someone of his frame and size, that's really a good one for him. Okay, now talking about Barcelona. Yes, that's the club. Just yesterday, their sporting director, Zubi Zarata, he was fired. And after that, Carlos Puyo resigns from his position as the assistant manager. And on Sunday, Barcelona lost their first game of the year. and Yodi Alba was the one who scored the own goal, and of course they lost to Real Sociedad, actually making David Moyes there, well, a hero in that one. So what is really happening at Barcelona? That's really a big question, because when you're having the football director being fired and the assistant resigning, I was thinking that, well, Carlos Puyol might just take over from him, but he has resigned, so we're still waiting for reports from Barcelona to see if they will be, well, getting another one soon. But right now, he has been fired, so they don't really have anyone right now. And another news coming from Barcelona this morning is the fact that Manchester City is willing to actually get Lionel Messi. For how much and what will they do with him? It's something I really can't tell for now, because that man, I think he's a true Barcelona player. I don't think he will be leaving that club anytime soon. Okay, now talking about transfer, well, Podolski finally completed the move to Inter Milan. He posted on Instagram and everywhere that we're thanking Arsenal fans that for all the time they gave to him. And another thing I asked myself was that, well, if he's thanking the fans and, of course, the club and every other thing, does that mean he's not coming back? Is it going to be a permanent deal? That's a big question, because it's supposed to be a loan deal till the end of the season. And with what well, Roberto Mancini said about him, the fact that he's a fantastic player that will definitely add quality to Inter Milan, he might just be staying after the loan deal. And for Podolski, the reason he's just 29, the reason he's leaving Arsenal on this loan deal is simply because he has not been playing regularly. The last time he played for Arsenal was that 4-1 win over Newcastle. So he feels he needs to play more. He's still a fantastic player. He's 29. He's still very young, and he believes he still has all it takes to actually give to a club. And for Inter Milan, they will be facing Juve today. The Italian Serie A resumes this week. And of course, after the winter break, they will be facing Inter Milan, Juventus today. And for what Roberto Mancini, he believes that having that victory will definitely help them to see how they can get to Europa League spot, because right now they are 11th in the league, and that's something he really don't want. That's the position he wouldn't want to be at the end of the season. Away from football now, talking some golf, where Tiger Woods had a very, very bad season last year simply because of injuries and all that. But one man believes that he can definitely come out this season smoking and improve his performance, and also chase that record, Jack Nicklaus' record, that he really wants to be. He has won 14 majors, but Jack Nicklaus has 18. Can he really get that? Let's listen to the Europe Ryder Cup captain. He said that he believes Woods definitely will be the man to beat this season.
It's hard to know. I saw him play at that tournament just before Christmas in Florida. The one thing that was very clear, and speaking to some guys who played with him recently as well too, is he's got his distance back. And if you're playing at the top level and trying to compete at professional golf now, you got to be hitting the ball a long, long way. Rory has that. He's one of the very longest hitters in the world. It's a massive advantage in the modern game to be hitting the ball a long way. So Tiger looks like he's got that back. So that's going to be a big asset to him, being able to hit the ball far. Will make him competitive. I think we've all seen him in the past, how competitive he is when he gets a chance of victory. But on the other side, it's quite a number of years now since he's won a major championship, and you know, there's pressure on him as well too, and he's not far away from getting Jack Nicklaus's record, and there's pressure on him to kind of reach that as well too. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes back. I'm very interested certainly to see what kind of year he has and how he gets back into it and how competitive he is, and should he get himself in contention for a major championship, is he going to follow through with a win?
Well, there's a man he really needs to compete with, Rory McIlroy, who is definitely on fire right now. Well, if Woods can get his season back on track, he might just win, well, a major this season. Well, that's all we have for sports this morning. Thank you so much for being part of the program. Of course, Sport Tonight is at 9 p.m. You join Toyin, Bitoye, and crew. And of course, get to hear more updates of what is happening to Edward. It's transfer saga, how it's going to continue. If, well, the Norwegian club Salzburg is really going to go to FIFA, and if it's going to be sanctioned, and what Nigerian Football Federation, the latest updates coming from the investigations they've started into, and how they can actually curb the excesses of some football agents who are actually making it difficult for some of our players who want to apply their trade abroad. Well, sometimes maybe when the time is ripe, they can definitely get something really cool for themselves and not just jump out to other leagues simply because they can't just bear to stay at home anymore. Because the Nigerian Premier League definitely last season was one of the best, and I can really talk about in recent history. It's been really wonderful. So if these players can really stay at home for a very long time and beat their time to get a proper record, I think they will not be having this, because I would rather prefer a player playing in the Nigerian Football League than just going to Esperance or Tunisia or Egypt or even Iran or Jordan to actually play football, because this league is very, very competitive. Thank you for being part of the show. Business Money is up next. Bye for now.